this is why I love the conversation, because everything you say, like, and the thing was that, you know, I'm trying to make this a personal thing, so that it's not just some kind of, oh, let's talk about other people. Fear is such a debilitating disease. Fear, you know, fear of what other people think, fear of what other people are going to say,
and
fear
that's
of being
judgment.
myself.
Dan, I got so quick. Just say it. Just right. Here you go. This is one of my favourite sayings, and I love this one. I'll put it in front of the camera so you can read it.
Courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph. Absolutely.
Triumph over it. Nelson Mandela.
Absolutely.
I love that, and that's the point. No, it's all right to be afraid, but it's okay to be uncertain. It's all right to be unsure. It's all right to have all those things, but then don't let it stop you. And the danger is we've created a society where it's all about judgment. Well, hang on a second, my car's bigger than yours. Oh, I must be better than you. So that's where the fear comes from. Fear comes from judgment. You know, fear of failure isn't a fear of me failing. It's a fear of me being judged as a failure. It's the fear of me being stopped my ridiculous path in this machine we've created because of failure. Fear of failure. You think about a child. It's not a fear. It's not afraid of failure at all. The first time you learn to walk, you fall over. A child is falling over and trying and failing and trying and failing and trying and failing all the time. The fear of failure comes later in life when we realize we're being judged by our peers. That's where the fear comes from. If we can drop the judgment, if we can say, I'm Manley, you're Dan, I'm going to be me. Yeah. And you can judge me if you like, but your judgment won't worry me. Yeah. Because I'm going to be me.
I don't want your affirmation. I don't need it. Like, I'm going to get on, do whatever I'm going to do. I love there's so many, you know, like the 8-year-old child thing. There's so many things that you've said that have had a really positive impact on me. Like the 8-year-old child thing. You know, all the things that I know that I am. You know, I am energetic, I am positive, and I like to get out, and I will do things. And it's like, you know, I get up 2 o'clock in the morning because I don't bound out of bed, I crawl out because my bones are aching from the day before. But after 5 or 10 minutes, like my 8-year-old child is there, you know, like I'm up, you know, I'm motivated, I want to go and do stuff. And, you know, all of that stuff was suppressed. And it's so pointless. Like everyone's on social media publishing all this stuff about how wonderful their life is, and it's all crap.
It's all crap.
All crap.
The danger is we've got caught in a system. We've got caught in this perception, external perception on success, and that's the danger. And so we're all judging ourselves and judging each other, and that is the source of fear of failure. Yeah. A child doesn't have it. A child is born with love. A child is born without that fear. A child is born to fail by experimenting and learning. And it's one of these things that are sort of, when we come out into the world, we're pretty useless to begin with, actually. I mean, there's not a great deal going on upstairs. And, you know, from a father's perspective, children are only interested when they can start catching a ball. Then you can go and play with them. It's all right. I'm joking. It's a delight. But if you think about how we're formed, Dan, right? The 0 to 4 and 4 to 8 years old is critical. In the first 4 years of our life, our brain is making over 6 million new neural connections almost every second of our waking life, which is why kids sleep so much, because their brain is just sucking in absolutely everything and working out what works. Between 4 and 8, a child then starts refining all those experiences. And we love children that age because they have a beautiful innocence, that they just get on with life without any sense of judgment at all, just working out their way to deal with the world. And by 8 years old, their character is set in stone. Your values do not change beyond that time. The core who Dan is, who Manley is, who everyone else is there. But also at 8, there's a tragedy that unfolds. I saw it in my children and other children as well. That we suddenly start realizing we're being judged at 8 years old. So a child's internal dialogue changes from I'm me, I'm going to do it, to what's expected of me. No, what does mum expect? What does daddy expect? What does school expect? What does church expect? What does society expect? And instead of following our true life now, we get dragged further and further away from who we really are by this dominant culture. And the danger is, if this gap is too big, we cannot fulfill self-worth, which is self-respect and self-esteem. So we're in psychological conflict. And that's what we've created. We've created a world where we've dragged everybody so far away from who they want to be. It's a miserable bloody place. It really is. And that's the 8-year-old child. We're trying to, if we can help people rediscover their 8-year-old self, and bring that to work, bring that to the community, bring that to your family. Stop saying no, start saying yes. Stop thinking about yourself so much, start thinking about other people. Stop chasing the ridiculous dreams of materialism and actually follow your life's purpose. We're in a different world, Dad. This world then is about success. It is about all the things we've got to do.
It's such a different feeling as well. Like whatever, doesn't matter whether it's, you know, like kind of wherever you are and you know where you want to be, and that whole bit in the middle, whether, you know, fear and judgment, or whether it's, you know, you have to go and exercise and it's physical, whatever that basically suffering is that you have to go through. But the actual, you know, the feeling of being able to be yourself is such a powerful, enabling, what's the word I'm saying? Enlightening experience.
It is enlightening. It takes a weight off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And this is the thing, and it's that weight of expectation, the weight of judgment, and you know, the Dalai Lama is one of the sort of big influences in my sort of concepts on compassion and the work I do, as are quite a few other extraordinary leaders. I mean, lucky enough to spend time with people like Desmond Tutu and stuff like that, and you think, you know, what extraordinary, humble,
you do, Manley.
humble, beautiful people. And then, you know, I love some of the Buddhist philosophies that the purpose of life, the meaning of life is happiness. Happiness is internal, it's not external. Happiness isn't a smart car. Happiness is you being you and following your heart and following your dreams, adding value to the world, that sort of stuff. And I think that's what we need to change. And we can do that. It's great.
Over the years, you know, it's all, I always wondered why I was such a weirdo. Like, you know, why? No, I do. I did. I was like, why?
Still do that.
No, I do. But like, I'd be like, why do I like psychology? You know, I had no education, and it was like, why do I like psychology and philosophy? Then I started reading religion, and you know, and I'm like, why? You know, because I was so focused on all this material. I was like, what use is any of this to me? And it wasn't until recently where change and everything started dropping in. But one of the things I really loved was, you know, and all these things, like, you know, I'm not saying I sort of researched, but just, you know, read about it to understand it. You know, and like, you know, quantum mechanics and, you know, physics and the universe, astronomy, I love it. But one, you know, I read Siddhartha and, you know, started to read some books about Buddhism, because I couldn't quantify in my own mind just going out and believing in a deity. And what Buddhism really did for me was help me understand that there's a huge difference between a deity and a religion. And a religion is a structured set of beliefs by which you live your life. And a deity is my imaginary friend I had when I was 5. So, you know, and it's fine. But what all of this has done is really helped me understand the power of belief. Like, I believe in energy and I believe in consciousness. And I believe that, you know, we all attribute, like, if somebody asked me what I think about God, I would say that there is, you know, my labeling of God would be consciousness. There is this huge difference between, you know, your meat vehicle and your consciousness. And that feeling of being able to really kind of feel like you're tuned in to your consciousness and the benefits that come out of it. In all of this, right, I'm a massive believer in, like, you know, I always have been, but fear just kept me away from it. But self-awareness and purpose-driven consciousness, I mean, what sort of role do you think that should play in, you know, people's lives who really want to get on and succeed?
I'm seeing it. What is fantastic, actually, is that I'm definitely seeing a rise in the consciousness of the need for consciousness and purpose. And that's brilliant. And actually, in the next generation coming through, they're looking at our generation thinking, I don't want to work like that. I want to be like that. I want to be that angry. I want a greater sense of meaning and this sort of stuff. And the greater sense of meaning, it shouldn't be an introspective sort of circle of disappearing up here and backside. It should be one of release and moving forward. From an energy perspective, it's fascinating. If we keep our mind open, then we've got a chart. So you started reading bits and pieces and getting excited. And yes, that is research, Dan. And it's a brilliant concept. And I've met some extraordinary people from such different walks of life who've shown to me a different universe, a universe that I didn't know. And I think that we have to have our minds completely open. I think there is definitely an energy. If you think about, even as a physicist, you know, we can't make matter. we can't destroy matter. We can't make energy. You can't destroy energy. That means the energy whizzing around your body now, Dan, when you pop your clogs in hopefully quite some time, that energy just moves on. It doesn't go because it can't go. And I love that as a principle. All energy, all matter there, but will be already is. I mean, whoa, that cooks your head, doesn't it?
It does. I like the fact we're all made of it, basically exploding stars.
Yeah, stardust.
It's fantastic.
Yes, exactly. And so the thing is, right, just relax then. So we are a small little lump of consciousness for a very, very, very small time. And that's another thing, by the way, Dan. What sailing teaches you is that when you're in your yacht in the middle of the ocean, it teaches you that you are utterly insignificant. That is a release, because society pumps us full of self-importance. It gives us status, roles, symbols, titles. But actually, we're not even a speck of sand on the beach. That speck of sand's around for a few million or billion years. We're not. And when you understand your complete vulnerability and the fact that you are nothing, it releases you completely to be you.
Yeah.
And that's one of the beautiful things too. So this element of a consciousness and a sense of purpose, yes, absolutely. Suppressing it is what's got us into the trouble we are. When you look at more indigenous groups of mankind, they work in rather different concepts of being centered and being together and a sense of meaning and purpose. They're not trying to find some great understanding of life. They just accept that life is. They accept that the sun will come up, it'll go down. The wildebeest will come across the plain at a set time of year when the rains and the sun is doing whatever it's doing. We don't need to understand everything because I don't think we can. Personally, so if we don't worry about it, let's just try to understand, let's just try and grow our knowledge, let's just try and recognize that I'm only here for such a small speck of time. I mean, mate, if you're stardust, then part of the dust inside you was part of a star that exploded and died 100 billion years ago.
I know.
And now it's made you a little bit in your fingernail. I mean, so on a scale of things, mate, we're all cosmic stardust. It sounds like a Bowie song, doesn't it? But and maybe he was onto something. And so I think that we need to just release that. Yes, we need a sense of consciousness and purpose. If everybody went out into the world, say, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to help 10 other people. What an extraordinary, beautiful world we could create. Sorry, I get overexcited. I interrupted you. I do too, Dan. I do too. Even the smallest little thing, little example, right? Someone may be driving in their car today or whatever. My challenge to them is give 10 acts of kindness on your next journey. So if someone's to come in, let them come in. If someone's across the road, let them cross the road. And this to me is this principle of compassion. And the Dalai Lama talks about compassion being empathy with understanding. Sorry, empathy with positive action. So empathy isn't the emotional context of empathy, if you know what I mean. People hear that empathy is about feeling your pain. When my wife was giving birth to her children, I couldn't feel her pain. No, so the empathy isn't that. In fact, a friend of mine I was chatting with just the other day said that as his wife told me this, as she was squeezing and pushing out this child, he said to her, "Darling, is this as painful as stubbing your toe?" I mean,
brave man.
Well, no, stupid man, actually. But so for me, empathy isn't about me feeling your pain. It's about me understanding your journey. If I can empathize with you and understand your journey, who is Dan, and then compassion, then the Dalai Lama says, if empathy is understanding, compassion is understanding, then action with positive intent. So I'm going to understand Dan, and now I'm going to come out there and work positively with my understanding. So even the simplest thing, we go down the road and we're driving in our car. Let's increase our peripheral vision. Let's open up our eyes to mankind, humanity, the rest of the sentient beings. Don't zoom at night. If there's a pigeon in the road, they're a bit slow. They won't get out of the way quick. Don't squash it. Slow down. Yeah. If little old lady's trying to cross a road, and it doesn't make no sense because she's only 10 yards from a zebra crossing, still let it go.
Yeah.
Why not? If someone's trying to come in on a bit of busy traffic, slow down and let them do it. It changes you internally. You come out that journey not stressed. You come out that journey thinking, I helped 10 other people today.